One day, Vaggie would spare a child. Lute saw this. She should tear off her wings. She should teach her a lesson. She was going to, but she just couldn't. She was too close to her. Eventually, Lute and Vaggie would fly back to heaven. As in, Lute would go to talk to Vaggie privately. As Lute would say, "Vaggie, can I ask you a question?" Vaggie would say, "Of course," as she walked up to her and then sighed. "Why didn't you destroy that child?" "Because it was just a kid. I couldn't." "I know it was just a kid, but it was in Cannibal Town. You know what that makes it, don't you? That kid is a monster. You should have done it." Lute would then walk off. She sighed. She didn't have the heart to kick Vaggie down, and Vaggie knew it, as now there was tension between them. Wanted to punish Vaggie. Lute wanted to send her to hell, but she couldn't. She cared about her too much, but she didn't know why. As she continued to search, continued to research these feelings, as Vaggie became more and more scared that Lute would kick her out. But for some reason, Lute didn't. Vaggie thought maybe she liked her, but she didn't know. One day, Lute would go up to Vaggie and say, "Vaggie, I need to talk to you." As Vaggie would say, "What's up?" Lute and Vaggie would stare at each other for a while until Lute would say, "Listen, I should have turned you in for what you did. That's unforgivable. So you're gonna have to go to hell." Vaggie then got ready for a fight, as then Lute would drop her weapon and say, "I'm going with you." Vaggie was shocked as she would say, "What? But, I should have turned you in. I let this crime slide. At least now we could be together if you want." As then Vaggie and Lute would kiss, as then they would go down to hell. Then they would go down. They would go down to hell. And while at first things would be hard, they had nowhere to live, nothing to do, and they had to hide who they were. After all, former exorcists probably wouldn't be too popular down there. They would find a crappy apartment and stay there for a while, but it just wasn't enough, and the odd jobs they did was enough to keep them living, but they wanted more, but they didn't know what. They wanted to simply enjoy a nice, easy life, after all the hardship they've been under. Being forced to slaughter so many people and giving up everything really can take your toll. They could just wanted a break. As Vaggie and Lute were sitting there, suddenly an ad would appear on their TV. Vaggie and Lute has been here for years. Charlie would open her hotel without ever meeting Vaggie. As Charlie would then start to explain the idea of the hotel and everything, as she was laughed at, humiliated, even worse in this timeline, as she left crying with tears and blood in her eyes from fighting Lady Joy. As Lute would say, "Pathetic," Vaggie would say, "Let's go there." Lute would say, "What? She'll let us in. Besides, it'll be a nice, relaxing day." As then Lute and Vaggie would start to travel out. As they would start to walk to the hotel, Lute would say, "Are you sure about this?" Vaggie would say, "Yes, I am." As they would hold hands, they would walk to the hotel. As Charlie would answer. As Charlie would say, "Oh, welcome. Wait, do you two guys actually want to join? You know, the interview didn't go too well." As Alistair would then open the door from the other side. Alistair joined not too long before they showed up, as he said, "Oh, already? Seems like my presence already making a difference." Vaggie would say, "Yeah, but can we talk to you?" As Lute and Vaggie would sit down with Charlie. As then Vaggie was about to lie, but Lute would say, "Let's tell her the truth." "What? Worst case scenario, we can just run or fight." Vaggie would say, "There's no way she'll let us in." Charlie would say, "What are you two talking about?" As then Vaggie would then sigh, as Lute would look up and say, "We're exorcists. We escaped down from hell. We want a place to stay. We know we can't get redeemed, but we would like to help out the hotel to make up for what we've done." Charlie was shocked, as then Alistair would say, "Guess we gotta get rid of him." As then Charlie would say, "Exorcists wanted to do better? This is great. Of course you're welcome to stay." As Alistair would say, "What now?" As then Charlie would let them stay at the hotel. As then a few days would pass, Vaggie and Lute relationship pretty much stayed the same. However, they would notice something. Someone was really cute, and that was Charlie. He slowly started to get a crush on Charlie, as so did Lute, but they didn't really bring it up. They didn't even know if Charlie liked women, so they decided to hide it. As Charlie would watch one day, as Lute and Vaggie would be sitting down eating dinner, holding hands, discussing things, enjoying each other's company. As Charlie watched from the sidelines, lonely, wishing she had a partner. As she watched on the balcony, as they ate below, suddenly Charlie would fall down and hit the ground. As she stood up and said, "I'm okay." Vaggie would say, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine, as she blushed as she looked at them. Lute would say, I know what's going on here. Charlie would then blush and say, what? Lute said, you like us, don't you? That's why you're watching us. Charlie would say, no, I don't. As Lute would laugh, and so would Vaggie, as they would both walk up behind her. As Vaggie would say, it's okay, darling. It's okay to like me. As then, Vaggie would kiss Charlie, as then Lute would kiss her too, as then she would yell, ee. As Lute would say, I was just messing with you. That really was the reason? Charlie would say, shut up. Come on now. As they would all hold hands and walk off. As they would enjoy spending time together. As they would get closer and closer. One day, however, when Lute was walking to get stuff for her girlfriends, someone would stop her. It was Adam. As Lute would see Adam, she would say, what are you doing here? You're my best soldier, Lute. I'm giving you a chance. Come back to me. Get rid of this sinful crap. I get it. It's hot. I mean, if I was a girl and I could bang the princess, I would too. But, listen up. You can't. Alright? This is wrong. So go back to heaven. Lute would say no. As Adam would say, I'll burn everything down. Destroy everything, including you. Lute would say, do it. As then Adam started to tear up a bit. Lute never saw emotion like this. Adam truly did care for her in his own way, as then he flew up to heaven. As Lute would go back to the hotel and warn her girlfriends. Vaggie and Charlie were sitting on the couch. As they talked to each other, they began to enjoy each other's company. As they continued to discuss things, Charlie and Vaggie were waiting for Lute so they can have fun together. Even though they've dated for a while now, they have not all three had fun. So this was going to be exciting. As Lute came back with food, Vaggie would say, are you ready, dear? Lute would send a sigh and say, I was, but Adam's going to kill us all. As then Charlie would say, wait, what? As then Lute would say, yeah, Adam's here is coming down to kill us. As Vaggie would say, we have to get ready. As Vaggie would get her spear, Lute would say, we have to train. Charlie would say, I don't know about this. It's the only way for us to survive. We have to fight. Charlie would reluctantly agree, as they would train and get an army like Cannon. In this timeline, though, they'll be way better off, because Lute would actually be on their side, and they would train from early on. As all this was going on, we cut to Adam. He was conflicted. He didn't want to hurt Lute, but he had no choice. As he gathered up his forces and prepared to attack hell. As the exorcists rained down, they caused nothing but death, nothing but destruction. As the city burnt, as the cannibal army would fight back against the exorcists, it was a fierce battle. Both wanted nothing but destruction, both full of bloodlust. As Adam would fight Alistair like a cannon, but as Alistair escaped, a spear would be thrown, as Adam would dodge just in time, as Charlie and Vaggie would charge Adam, as Lute would also charge him, and Adam would say, it's not fair, you two were my best exorcists, now you left me. Time to die, as then he would play music and blast them both back. Charlie used her demonic form to keep Adam back. As she did this, Adam was held back just enough for Vaggie and Lute to charge down Adam. As they used their spears and tried to hit him, he would dodge each time, but each time they got closer and closer and closer, as they would hold hands and jam their weapons into him as he fell to the floor. Was it really worth it, giving up all this just for love? I mean, I could have got you guys hot babes, you know. He would laugh, joking as he coughed up blood, as he dropped his weapon. He could have kept fighting, maybe even tried to heal himself, but he just gave up. Lute realized this as she felt bad, as she would sit down and say, I'm sorry, Adam. I'm sorry I came to this. As Vaggie would hold Lute's hand, Charlie would say, I'm sorry I came to this too. As Adam would laugh and say, don't be sorry. You're all happy together. And me? I'm just a lonely a-hole who gets to die. As then he just laughed as Adam passed away. They lived happily ever after. And that's where I'm going to leave things off. Thank you so much for suggesting this idea. I really just went with it. I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah. Sometimes I'll do viewer ideas. Sometimes I won't. It really depends. Sometimes I'll be out of idea and I just look through comments. You know, it really depends on what mood I am, what's going on, just a bunch of other stuff. But for now, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know I did. The thumbnail, I'm not gonna lie, I spent like 2 hours on the thumbnail, just changing it over and over again because it wasn't good enough. And eventually, I was like, I can't do this. I have to make this soon. So I just went with a bunch of them on camera because why not? Tried to look for a ship of all of them, but I couldn't find that. That would have been easy for me to turn into a thumbnail and share it. the author, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? And I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting me. If you don't think anyone loves you, you're wrong, because I love you, and it really means the world to me that I have an audience like you that supports me, that watches me, and that's there for me. Also, I have a community tab on my YouTube thing. I don't know how that works, but anyone can post. It is censored, which means you can't, like, say really bad words. And stuff like that. So, yeah. But, hey. Either way, I think it's still, like, a cool idea. Just go there and ask, like, people questions. It can be anything. You could be like, hey, why are there gray wolves? And they'll answer. They'll be like, gray wolves evolved from this and that. You know what I mean? That's just an example. I probably won't answer like that. But, yeah, I think that's a cool idea to bring a community together. Much better than a Discord, because Discord's shady as F right now. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Also, what website do you think is the shadiest? Like, I'm not talking anything on the dark web or anything obscure. I'm talking about normal, like, mainstream websites like YouTube, Facebook, and things like that. Websites like that, what do you think is the scariest and why? Please let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Peace out.